Welcome in, friend Ross. Good morning. How are you doing, Nietzsche? Good morning. I have good news. So this is a very good morning. Sleek Styles, good morning. Sue, good morning. Prime Pulls, good morning. Good news. Yes, good news. Good morning, Mimics. Good morning, Big Daddy's Bargain Bin. Welcome in. I'm going to let this timer run out and then I will head straight to the good news. Or you can just read it. You can read it in the show notes, but either way. Yeah, we do. Hi, Dynamic One Thread. What a great name. How are you? Welcome in. Um, I'm going to start actually with some other good news. Before I go to the good news. Thank you. I decided to celebrate by putting on some jewelry and one of my prettier tops. Although there's only so many sports bras that I can handle. I don't like bras. And there's only so many that don't hurt a lot. So this one is great, except that it usually shows. But you'll just have to ignore that. Brielle, good morning. Malachi's Madhouse, good morning. So first of all, good news of a sort if you are interested in this sort of thing. Good news, while this is running out, is that what I do every month, every couple of weeks, is I go on and try and find new sellers who have booked shows on whatnot, and I go by category. So today I went into the women's fashion category, and there are so many new sellers, Canadian sellers. If you want to do the same thing and start following new folks in your category and welcoming them, just go to the category when you're on the homepage. You go to the category at the bottom. It's like a little magnifying glass, and then you're going to pick the category that you like. And then hit the filter button, which is on the left hand side at the top, close to the top, sort of in the middle. And then you're going to boop on that. And then it's going to do a pop up. And then you're going to go down and select shipped from. And then, and then you're going to select Canada. And then if you hit apply, it's going to show you only Canadian shows, people who live in Canada, so that you can find new sellers that are of interest to you that are in Canada. And you can also look for Germany and England and all kinds of other ones as well. So that's good news. Number one is we have a lot of Canadian sellers coming on board. So welcome to all the new ones. Yeah, Dave says invite them all to come and watch me. I feel like we need to have some way of welcoming new sellers where we can kind of do some sort of like I don't know if it's on the app or off the app, but there's got to be a way that we can welcome them and like say like come to us first before you do your first show. I think I need to do a show where I just say, so you're thinking like that we concentrate on, so you want to be a whatnot seller, you've been approved to be a whatnot seller, what should I do before I do a first show? Because yesterday we rated into, not yesterday, the day before, I think. I can't even remember. The days are so long, but we rated into somebody it was her first show, but unfortunately she hadn't done the steps ahead of time of how to put your inventory into your show. And so it was hard to buy anything off her because her shop was completely empty. So, and she wasn't really sure how to do things, and I think we need to help out with that somehow. We need to do it because whatnot has Seller Academy, but that's clearly not getting through to a lot of people to that they before they do their first show they could do Seller Academy. Good morning, Stamp Pickers. Good morning, Forget Me Not. Good morning, Bargain Betties and Kiki and Rebecca. Good morning. And Gathering Old Memories. What a great name. Baba Rips. Good morning. Me with numbers beside you. Welcome in. Vintage Buyback. Kelly Irish. Good morning. Absolute Flipping Deals. Donna. Good morning. How are you? All right, so let's get to the good news. Hang on, please hold. I actually found the holder for this, so I'm able to do this a lot easier now. I just wish I could pin on an iPhone. All right, start auction on the great drama. That is 2 minutes and 30 seconds, please. Jesus, Mother Mary and Joseph. Hang on. This is why having two devices, I miss having my Android phone. Thank you. I'm celebrating. These are clip-ons. They're vintage. I don't know if I don't see a mark on them, but I think they actually are silver. I was going through my jewelry this morning trying to find something to put on, but I don't see an imprint on them. So they aren't signed, but they're cute. And they don't hurt too much. Now, as I say that, I probably put that one in the wrong spot. Anyways, back to the okay, so good news. Good news is that the union met with news. That was a great idea. Absolute flipping deals. I like that. Let's plan a new seller event. You can be the speaker and we could have guests. Like, you need more to do. This is true. So everyone, and Stan Pickers can fill us in a little bit more because he has more information being actually a member of the union. But the union did meet with the minister, the federal minister, and out of that meeting, they're still not happy, and it doesn't seem like things are moving very quickly towards a resolution, unfortunately. However, the union has decided to move from a full national strike where everybody's off the job, the 55,000 workers are off the job, to rotating strikes starting Saturday. Now, as Stan Pickers points out, because it's on the weekend, a lot of workers don't work on weekends. So there'll be some retail outlets and post offices that will be open on Saturday because their Cup W employees are going to be back at work. So you could go to your local post office and it'll be open. However, your delivery drivers and that sort of thing. And Stampicker says parcels will start moving Saturday, but a lot of your deliveries are not going to start till Tuesday because Monday is a holiday. So Monday is Thanksgiving. So happy Thanksgiving, everybody. We have something to be grateful for. You'll start to see your mail moving through if you had mail stuck in the Canada Post system or at USPS waiting for the border. So RSMC, which is rural something carriers, I can't remember what the rest of it is. Anyways, your letter carriers and your delivery drivers are going to all be back at work. Everyone's going to be back at work starting Tuesday, and so we should start to see mail come through. However, it's going to be rotating strikes. So Forget Me Not Vintage says, yay, I have a huge package of jewelry stuck in Ontario, but Ontario could be the first target. I shouldn't say target, the first spot where rotating strikes happen. So the way that rotating strikes work is that the union picks areas of the country or major centers, distribution centers. They make the decision and they say, okay, just you guys are going to be on strike for today or for 3 days. They make that determination of how long it is. And then they say, okay, you guys go back to work. And now, like Nova Scotia, you're gonna go back to the picket line for a couple of days, and then we're gonna move it somewhere else. And they don't like make like a public schedule that so everybody knows. It's going to be their determination of where they can make an impact so that there's still a level of discomfort. They need to have a level of discomfort with Canada Post so that they get off their butt and start negotiating seriously. So you are going to see some impacts and slowdowns. So sometimes I don't think it's going to be 72 hours notice. No. I mean, obviously there'll be some notice for they don't need to do 72 hours notice to Canada Post. They just need to announce that those staff are going to be, hey, you guys don't go to work tomorrow. That sort of thing, as far as I know. Sandpicker says it will be by city area from what they said. We have another conference call today. So Corey, thank you, Corey. Stamp Pickers is a member of the union and does talk to some of the higher ups in the union. Yes, so I have messaged Whatnot Canada folks and let them know that this has been announced and given them the links and everything so they can look it up themselves because they're probably not going to believe me. And I said, can we pretty please have labels back on Saturday? And can we pretty please have buying back so that we can international buy? Although I do like the idea that we were like having to go into Canadian shows, right? That was a benefit for Canadian sellers is that Canadians only had us to buy from. Is there a schedule for the rotations? I mean, they'll have a schedule, Dave, but I don't think that they announce it. They'll just have it will be not random, but because it's strategic, but They're only going to just say, you know, currently this is where, yeah. So because otherwise, oh Jesus, okay, I don't like that one answer. All right, hang on. Yeah, so hopefully they're coming back, but Corey is right. Stamp Pickers is right. Um, Canada Post Corporation does have the right to just lock them out and say no, no. That would be a really freaking, like, on the level. I mean, they've done a lot of stupid things. So this would just be adding to the level of stupidity if they did this, because I will lose it. So if Canada Post, yeah, Stamp Picker says they don't officially give a schedule to that the general public can know about, because it's part of, like, also, they don't want the company to know ahead of time so that they can, like, redirect things, right? In anticipation. They don't want them to know. Anyways, so uh Dave says they locked us out so we can't rotate or work to rule makes sense for the government. Yeah, Dave is currently on strike because unfortunately the teachers are in have a challenge with the current government. Dave, you need to move. Get out of Alberta while you still can before it becomes the 51st state. Gosh. Oh man. Yeah, exactly. Oh yeah, Timeless Treasures, good morning. Thank you for your help yesterday. Sham, good morning. Beartown Market, good morning. Kay Slay, what's up? Okay, if I missed anyone else, Pickles, Bubba Rips. So right now the union has said we're going to go back to work on Saturday. And no, don't go to Alberta. Forget me not vintage. Although I guess if you own a home in BC and you sold it, you'd have a lot more money to spend and then some in Alberta, wouldn't you? I'm having a great morning, Casely, because it looks like we're going back to work. Now, if Canada Post says we're going to lock out, we all need to contact Canada Post headquarters and yell politely, passive aggressively. Just like, yeah, forget me not vintage. That's a good reason to move. What about, like, Nova Scotia or New Brunswick or PEI or Newfoundland? Don't you know? They're really pretty. There's no work out there. There's jewelry, though. I bet you there's jewelry. Tons of jewelry. Just need to go to all the little church sales. All the little church sales. By the way, also, happy start after Thanksgiving. Happy start to all the snowflake sales at churches and the rummage sales at churches for all of us who love to buy from church sales. So happy Christmas bazaar season that's starting next week. So okay, so that's the news. That's the Canada Post news, is that unless Canada Post Corporation decides to lock out their workers, the workers will be going back on the job, but doing rotating strikes starting at 6 a.m. Saturday tomorrow. And sure, sales are watch heaven. Oh, I bet you they are, because they have no idea what they're seeing. I missed at the church sale. It was on my birthday, and I totally forgot about it. The one down the road, where I usually get a few cute things. I missed it. I totally forgot. And then I'm like, oh, well, I'll survive. It's not like I don't already have enough inventory. I'm surrounded by inventory. You can't see it right now. It looks like I don't have any inventory. I have a fly. Okay, so and what you could do this morning if you want to is you could call Canada Post Corporation headquarters, and ask to talk to the CEO or the executive assistant to the CEO and say, do not go, do not lock out your workers, because if you do, I will never use Canada Post again, even if that's not true. Just say it. You will never use Canada Post again if you lock out workers. You need to get back to work. This is ridiculous. Enough's enough. Okay, that's it. Big Daddy's Bargain Bin asks, what's a rotating strike? So with a rotating strike, they will pick an area or a city and say, or they could do multiple at the same time. So they'll say Halifax and all of Ontario and Calgary are on strike for the next 2 days. And then they can turn around and say, okay, now it's Edmonton, Vancouver, and Montreal. Okay, now you guys are back to work, and now it's Ontario again, but just the Toronto area and the distribution center in Winnipeg. So what they do is it's basically they just keep moving it around so that no one we're not going to know until every morning if it's been announced that there's a strike in this area. I will tell you on my show. I will say the strike is currently in the following places. So these following places, if you are a seller, you're going to have to wait to drop off your packages for a couple of days, or there might be delays for a couple of days in these particular areas. So in rural communities is less likely that they're going to be on strike. So maybe in Hastings they won't be on strike, or they might say everything in this area like Belleville, Hastings, Campbellford, Sterling, all that. So it's all going to be rotating and moving around. So you can expect that there's going to be delays, and sometimes you're not going to be able to drop off your packages because your particular area is on strike for a small period of time. So it is going to cause delays, but it's not going to make it impossible to use Canada Post. Right now, it's impossible to use Canada Post. And again, it's not, if Canada Post doesn't lock out workers, and again, call Canada Post and tell them, do not lock out your workers. If they don't lock out workers, then they'll be back to work on Saturday. Parcels will start moving through the system, and letter carriers and other mail delivery are going to start again on Tuesday. Because don't forget, they don't work on the weekends, and Monday is a holiday. Stampers, reach out to some of the antique and large dealers of vintage stuff in the UK and France is where you can get good bulk deals. Oh, that's true. So contact Canada Post if you have time today. Go to canadapost.ca and in the contact us or make the phone call. You can just put Canada Post, head office, CEO, telephone number. Make a call, send an email, fill out an online form, and tell them that they should not lock out their workers. Do not lock out your workers. I'm a seller, and if you do this, I will never, ever use Canada Post again. You don't have to do a pinky promise. Just say it. Tell them that you're not going to. Many voices. You may think that if you do that, it's not going to have an impact. But if there's a number of us, because one of the things with customer service statistics, large corporations like Canada Post use statistics to decide whether or not an issue is worth doing anything about. So if you call and say, I don't like the fact that there's dogs that are peeing on the lawn beside the post office, they're going to ignore that because there's not many people who are making that call, right? But if enough of us say you need to not lock out your workers, that statistic is going to a vice president or a senior manager who's just looking at the stats. The number of people who said this, the number of people who said that, the percentage of calls that we got were about not locking out workers. It has an impact. The exact same thing is done. The exact same process happens in an MP's office, a minister's office. So when you think your email or your phone call doesn't make a difference, all of this information is tracked and the statistics are watched, and this is what they use to make decisions. They decide based on how we are expressing our opinion, because they know that, and I know there's Karens of the world who will make noise about anything, but they know statistically that if one person makes a phone call or an email about a subject, that there is likely anywhere from 20 to 50 other people or more that also feel the same way, but just aren't bothering to express that opinion. So that is why the squeaky wheel gets the grease. because they know that you're not alone in your feelings when you call or email about a subject. So do not do not just um do not just give in. Let's see. Do I know a contact email for them by chance? All I see is a number and a chat with us option. I definitely want to email them and can't find it online. Let's find out. Hang on. The CEO of Canada Post is, hang on, let me type this out. DOUG dot. Now, obviously, he has a staff person that reads this first. Canada Post, please hold. .ca. Make sure I got that right. Yep. Okay. So the CEO of Canada Post is Doug Ettinger, Ettinger, and his email is doug.ettinger@canadapost.com. For general customer service, you can call 1-866-607-6301. You can also email service@canadapost.ca. And Stamp Picker says we've gone to the minister and MPs to ask them to pressure Canada Post Corporation and the rest of government. Yeah, so if you want to find my MP's email address. If you go to this website, Our Commons .ca. If you go to this website, Our Commons, so Our House of Commons .ca, you will find all the members of Parliament. You can send a letter once Canada Post is back in operation. You don't have to put a stamp on a letter if you want to mail your member of Parliament a letter or send them a postcard, just a short postcard. You just put in the member of Parliament's name and MP beside it, and then House of Commons, Ottawa, Ontario, Canada, K1A0A6. And all of your members of Parliament you can find if you go to ourcommons.ca. You'll find all the list of members of Parliament. OHMS works too. OHMS. That's all I got was OMS. Don't forget to stay on top of Whatnot to keep Bring Your Own Label for Canadian sellers. Yes, I mean, Bring Your Own Label is great. It does add extra expense, but certainly, yes, if you want to keep Bring Your Own Label after this strike is over, message Whatnot support. If you go up to my show notes and you scroll, there's a lot in my show notes, I know. Scroll down to the line of fire. And just below the line of fire, I have the information on how to contact Whatnot using Whatbot. So you go to the contact us on His Majesty's service. I sent my taxes that way. Oh, His Majesty service. Interesting. Okay, I can't find. Yes, and also ask Whatnot to allow Sendle.com and other ones that aren't. Yeah, Dave Stampiker says, how is Doug Ettinger still the CEO after creating this entire mess for Canadians? Write to your MPs to remove this guy. You've been sending that way for, you just write on His Majesty or Her Majesty service. I get it. So just write that. Okay, so you can just put on His Majesty service. I get it. That's so cool. So that's that. So if you're looking to find out who your member of Parliament is, you can go to ourcommons.ca to find your member of Parliament. and then you can get their now, if you don't know, so what you can do is you just go to the current members of parliament and then you put in your postal code. So in my postal code is actually split between two people, Emma Harris. So I put in KOL 1YO. It's okay. It's the whole area is that address. The Faja, good morning. Jam 3 Ham, I love that name. Good morning. So I have two in my area. So Philip Lawrence is the Tory and Emma Harrison is mine, and she's a liberal for Peterborough, and because I live in Peterborough County. So Emma Harrison is who I message about things. Also, I have a personal appeal. That's not related to whatnot, so I apologize, but I have a personal appeal. And if you don't agree with me, that's okay. We can still be friends. There is a young lady, a woman. She's 24 years old. Her name is Sadie Mees. She is one of the members of the flotilla that was on the ship Conscience, that was headed to Gaza to provide medical, like antibiotics and baby formula, and they were bringing doctors and journalists. And she was supposed to be on one of the flotilla included sailboats too, a whole huge amount of sailboats. But her boat, just before they were about to leave, her boat didn't pass the test, so she ended up on the big ship Conscience. And a couple of days ago, when they were still 100 miles, over 100 miles away from um, Israeli territory. They were still in international waters. The Israeli armed forces boarded the boat, seized the boat, towed the boat back to Israeli waters, and abducted all of the people on board, including Sadie. Sadie is the daughter of somebody that I volunteer with, and the granddaughter of um, Trent Hills, which Hastings is part of, Trent Hills mayor, and she is currently in custody jail. She was zip tied and taken from the ship, and the ship was seized. So if you have a chance, if you can contact your member of parliament and ask them to work their tail off to get Sadie and there are 6 Canadians, including Sadie, who have been abducted while they were in international waters. They hadn't made it out of international waters. They were just trying to bring medical aid, doctors, journalists, baby formula, antibiotics, um, burn. There's a lot of burns that they're reporting that are happening in Gaza because of the fires from the bombs. So burn packages, care like medical equipment. They weren't bringing anything else. They weren't bringing Molotov cocktails. They were just bringing humanitarian aid. And so yeah, that's a request from me. If you have a chance, please call your MP. Tell them first and foremost, Canada Post, don't you dare lock them out. And two, please please contact your member of parliament and ask them to work their tail off to free the 6 Canadians who were abducted off of the ship Conscience. It was really, if you want to look her up, Sadie Mees, Mees, you'll see there's one video. If you put in news, there's one video of her mom doing an interview, and it is heartbreaking to see Kira trying to hold back the tears because she's scared. And yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you, absolute flipping deals. Anyways, okay. All right, back to answering your questions. So let me just look and see if there are any questions. Haiku Gem says current CEO was appointed by the Liberal Party of Canada in 2019. Guess how much they lost that year before he had full control? It turned a $6 million profit in 2019 or in 2018. Doesn't matter anyways. It's like they're purposely tanking it. Doesn't it feel like that sometimes? Um Yeah, I know, Sandra. It is so super scary. I mean, you can say that she was arrested, but really, she was in internet. They were in international waters. Were they headed to Gaza? Yes, but they were still in international waters. Why didn't they wait? Why did they have to go into international waters to abduct them? So, anyways, good morning, Kay. How are you? I'm just talking about um, somebody that I volunteer with. Her daughter has been abducted by the Israeli armed forces and is in jail and is in an Israeli jail right now. And look, I have no problem with the concept of a country called Israel, and I have no problem with the Jewish religion or people, but I do not believe that they have the right to do to other human beings these sort of things. Like that's not part of religious freedom. That has nothing to do with religion. It has all to do with land grab and money. Yes, the genocide. And it's just the irony of a Jewish state being created after a genocide of Jews. The irony is not lost on me. Um, it is not lost. Like I can't I can't understand it. I can't understand after your family members were murdered why you would even do this. Why, like, I just don't understand it. And yes, there is a peace, there's some sort of peace deal that's happened. By the way, the great pumpkin's evil cousin did not win the Nobel Peace Prize. Other good news today. Um a political activist and an opponent in Venezuela has won the Peace Prize. Yay. Congratulations to her. It's a woman. And yes, I'm sure that some maggots are going to say that it's a DEI hire, a DEI. But yes, exactly, Zencat. Um, Truck Fump. Truck Fump is I've actually designed T-shirts. I think I'm going to get some made. I don't really like doing new things, but making new things. But I think I need a Truck Fump T-shirt. I've made a design. I just maybe need a pumpkin or something underneath the truck, but I can't decide whether it should be like a classic cool truck or like a monster truck. But I think if it's a monster truck, I think like maggots are going to see it and be like, "Oh, look, it's a monster truck. She's wearing a monster truck," and then maybe their brain will realize what the T-shirt's actually saying if it's got a big monster truck and then Fump underneath. Yeah. Anyways, I digress. That's what I'm thinking. I think it's going to be the monster truck design. I haven't completely decided, but I think that's what's going to be. Anyways, in other news, let's talk about whatnot. Because if Canada Post doesn't lock out workers on Saturday, then they're going to be back to work, rotating strikes, which means we can go back to buying whatnot labels through whatnot for Canada Post, and we won't have to worry about bring your own label, and I won't have to talk about how to like work around the chit chat system in order to send batches if you don't live close to a chit chats, because I'm really tired of that. And unfortunately, chit chats didn't get it done in time, and I thank Matthew for trying. You're awesome, Matthew, and I appreciate that what you've tried to do. And if we go back to this, so the one thing I want you to be cautious of is just because now they're going back to rotating strikes doesn't mean that they're going to stay on rotating strikes. If things don't move along, the union may say, look, we have to go back on strike. Like they're just not listening to us. They don't feel threatened by us. The only way we can make action happen is if we go back on a full national strike. So a full national strike could come back again. So that could be strike 2.1. Okay. So we're currently in strike 2.0. Yeah, as Stampicker says, there's a possibility. Yes, there's a lot to this. So, I mean, the union only has so many cards that it can play. Work to rule, saying no to flyers, saying no to overtime, rotating strikes, or a full national strike. There's a lot of things that they could do to make enough discomfort for Canada Post Corporation to get them to negotiate seriously with more of a good deal for the union, that the union can take to its members with their heads held high and say, we've given you something that's going to help you, not hurt you. That's their job. So if you have a problem with what the union is doing, my reminder to you is that the union bosses, their job is to protect their members' workers. The members pay in to the union for the exact purpose of the union protecting their jobs. That's what the money's for, is to protect their jobs, protect their security, protect their health and safety. That's what the union is for. So whether you agree with unions or not, I don't give a fork. The reality is that it's their job. That's what they're hired to do. That's what all union workers, they've got a job. This is their job description. This is what they're supposed to do. So don't get mad at the union for doing what the union is supposed to do, right? Ask yourself, why is it that Canada Post Corporation has gone from a profit to such a huge negative that the government of Canada had to give them a $1 billion, not loan, but gave them $1 billion to get them back into the black a little bit. They're still, why are they losing so much money? What is it that they're doing? And why are, if they're losing money left, right, and center every single day, why is it that their CEO and their vice presidents and senior managers are getting bonuses at the end of the year? Why do you get a bonus for, like, no other company would give bonuses for losing money? And this is a company of Canada, the Canadian government, which means you, a Canadian taxpayer, own Canada Post. Canada Post also owns 91% of Purolator. Purolator is getting a lot of packages from Canada Post. So Canada Post has been redirecting revenue to another corporation that they own, making the profits less for Canada Post by redirecting packages to Purolator. Does that make any sense? I mean, yes, it makes sense for those who own for Purolator, but it does not make sense that a company is it would be like Home Depot owning part of Lowe's and 91% of Lowe's, and like sending their their lumber to Lowe's instead of selling it themselves, and being like, we're just gonna give Lowe's all our lumber, almost all our lumber, and Lowe's is where you're gonna find the two by fours you need. Sandpicker says they've given Purolator almost $1 billion in business in the last 2 years, and Doug, the CEO of whatnot, what the CEO of Canada Post, is on both boards, the Purolator board and Canada Post Corporation. Yeah, that doesn't seem right. Anyways, let's get back to, let's hope that Canada Post does not lock out workers on Saturday. And if they don't lock out workers on Saturday, we're going to rotating strikes. So it's going to be slower, but it's not going to be impossible to ship with Canada Post. So we can start as soon as Whatnot turns back on labels, hopefully on Saturday. I haven't heard back yet, but I could have had an email response already. Then we should be seeing, we should be able to start creating labels soon. And also we should be able to start buying internationally starting on Saturday. But again, Canada Post could lock out workers and then we're back to where we are right now. Hopefully not. So let's like have Thanksgiving spirit, be grateful for this opportunity. Thank you, Cup W, for making this decision, because you're helping small businesses. And we appreciate it. I'm sure your members appreciate being able to go back to work, because $50 a day is not a lot of money for them, and especially this time of year, and it was really bad last time. So thank you, Cup W. I'm grateful to Cup W, and hopefully I'm going to be grateful to Canada Post as well. Hi, live stream. So if so let's talk about selling on Whatnot. Let's see. Okay. A few things that I have in my notes, which are somewhere, but I can't remember where they are. But anyways, I'm going to visualize them and try to remember. Um, so I was going through new profiles, new people on Whatnot, and I want to remind you of something. If even if you're a buyer or a seller on Whatnot, your profile should not direct people to another place where you sell. So, for example, I saw a new seller who has a show coming up where they put that they sell on Depop 2 and gave their Depop username. That is not allowed. On Whatnot, you are not allowed to redirect people to other places where you sell. Okay, you're not supposed to redirect people to go to Etsy or to Poshmark or to Depop or whatever else there is, eBay, that sort of thing. You can't say that directly in your profile. And that was at like the top of this person's profile. So that is a violation. So do not do that. So go through your profile. One of the things you can do instead is tell people to go to your Instagram, and then your Instagram could have like, I have a show coming up on another, a posh show, or you can do that on your Instagram, and you can direct people to your Instagram. Follow me on Instagram is probably a better thing anyways, um, for you to do for your businesses, because then you are redirecting people to your advertising. um IQ Jump says, I saw one live where a woman was showing her TikTok to get people to pay there instead of on Whatnot. I haven't seen her since two shows. Yes. You if you get caught doing that, that's like an instant removal. You will have your privileges of selling taken away from you. So do not do it live. Do not say I'll it's one thing in a community chat when I say, we sell on, some of us sell on eBay, or I had an eBay store, or that sort of thing. I also sell on another platform, but I'm not saying, hey, go there. I'm not trying to redirect you there. I'm just we're having a conversation about being a reseller. That's different. But if you're in your show and you show something and you're like, I have a whole bunch of Kleenex and I'm going to sell it here for $5. But if you want to get a really good deal, go to my eBay because I'm selling it for only $2 each. Or, or say anything I didn't sell today is going to be in my Poshmark show next week. So check me out on Poshmark if there's anything that you change your mind and you want, because it'll be on Poshmark. You can't do that. So don't do that. Stampicker says, most of us have an Instagram that just comes back to Whatnot through links. It's good to have sneak peeks. Yeah, use social media. It's nearly free advertising. It just takes your time to create a little reel or a thumbnail that you can, like just an image that you can put up. You can use free software like canva.com. They have a free option. I use the pro, but they have a free option to Linker Dinker says, I do that. Perfect. Use your Instagram, use your Facebook. If you are in a Facebook group, share your shows. Tell your family and friends, and ask your family and friends to share it on their social media. Say, like, I need your help. And you can even put that as like an Instagram post or a Facebook post saying, help me out, please share that I do this so that other people will get to know all about my Whatnot shows. Livestream says Canada's becoming huge in the TCG category, and I've noticed a huge spike in viewers, buyers, and sellers. I've been able to do pretty good here. That is awesome. Yes, TCG, sports cards, Lego, women's fashion, they are like they're like exploding in Canada, and it's really exciting to see. Um, Lanker Dinker says, "Is this a political show or just like random stuff?" This is a not it. We do get political because I refuse to be a woman who is known for keeping her mouth shut. Um, but this is where we talk about the latest news and then talk about being Whatnot seller. So we start with the news, and the news right now is Canada Post because that's huge for Canadians. If you want to talk about other politics, yeah, as Livestream says, a bunch of it all, yes, that has to do with Whatnot selling. Yeah. Angie says, I had a lady sign up as a buyer. the other day. She hopes to support people. Yay. Sandpickers, have an awesome day. Love you. You are amazing as always. Baba Rip says, we do UFC sports card breaks, and every show we have around 50% new buyers. That's forking awesome. That's awesome. Whatnot is doing advertising in Canada. They've been focusing a lot on advertising on YouTube. But I've also noticed that there's been an increase in the visibility that I see of them on Instagram as well. But they've been focused on Canada on YouTube, and they've really been pushing TCG and cards, and they will work through the categories and start really pushing. It works. Mimic says means it might be a perfect time to sell my own Pokemon cards. Yes, sell your Pokemon cards. I got Pokemon cards I still need to put on there. I have Pokemon pins. I just got a whole pile of Pokemon pins. I'm gonna do that. I have no idea about these cards. I have no clue. Some of them look pretty. I don't know. Like that looks kind of cute. That's really cute. None of them are shiny though. Anyways, I am gonna do a Pokemon show myself. Angie says, taking a break before I head off to set up my sale. Yay, U-Haul and a trailer full and more to go. Hey, yeah. I have a trailer. I have a U-Haul that I have to empty today. So I'm in the same boat, but it's a U-Haul mostly filled, not with stuff I'm going to sell. There's a few boxes, but it's mostly actually displays for, I'm going to be doing Whatnot shows and Whatnot auctions from the antique market. So I'm going to be listing things on Whatnot and then doing like a live show on Whatnot from the antique market. So it's going to be pretty fun. I just have to verify one thing with Whatnot support, and I'm not sure who I'm going to message to make sure that I get that right, because support may or may not give me the correct answer. So I'm going to actually see if I can up it to a higher level to ask the question. Livestream says, unless you've got a big crowd on the stream, you will often sell singles for lower price, gains followers and gains traction. Yeah, I'm just gonna like put them like I did a Yu-Gi-Oh. I did a Yu-Gi-Oh show because I had a whole bunch of Yu-Gi-Oh cards, and I just basically said, I have no clue about these things, and I just did like lots of 10, and I'd show them, and then I'd say, okay, if nobody bids, I'm going to add another few cards to it. And I just kept making piles, and people bid, and then they'd start outbidding each other. I had no idea what I was looking at. I let them figure it out. Big Daddies. Oh, you're welcome, Big Daddies. You are awesome. I'm glad you're here. You bought them back in 2000. Ooh, Mimics. There might be some exciting stuff in there. Angie says, I'm looking for a new place to live and want to have a selling room. Oh, that'll be fun. That'll be totally fun. Even if you can have a selling corner, right? Even if it's a selling corner of a room where you'll have a little bit of privacy, might be in the basement. You just put up some I've seen people put up some fabric that they got. You know, you don't have to get curtains. You can buy fabric instead at the thrift store and then put that up. I have one of my craft room. It doesn't have drywall in it, so I just took a whole bunch. I had like a huge thing of blue fabric that I got at a thrift store. I think it was the Salvation Army in Whitby. Anyways, and I used that to. I basically just took a staple gun and went ka-chunk, 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 and just put it up, so it looks a little bit better. Oh, and good news, this is live, so everyone can listen to my rant about Israel. So yes, I did do a political thing that had nothing to do with Whatnot, but it did have to do with a friend or somebody that I volunteer with whose daughter is in jail in Israel right now. TCG Player and Price Charting are great card sites for value in markets. Well, that's good to know. There you go. Mimics, TCG Player, and Price Charting. Oh God. Oh, you already have both. Never mind. Oh God, I'm having a flush. Dear ladies, what else is going to go on with this perimenopause? I saw a meme today that said, perimenopause is so weird. I feel like if a horn grew out of the top of my head and I posted it, women would be like, yep, that happens too. That's happened to me. I hate the flush. It's so hot right now. Woo! Um, okay. The bot just posted my video. Yeah, so I have on Discord. If you join our Discord, if you haven't joined our Discord yet, come and join. It's in you have to read a lot of things on my show notes, but there is a part um that is all about that, and um that talks about how to join the Discord. So go to that, join our Discord. We're a lot of fun. It's open to everybody, whether you're Canadian, American, I don't care. Wherever you are in the world, come join us on our Discord. We try to help each other. We post things, but one of the things that I've added is a little robot that whenever I do a video on YouTube, so whenever my live manages to multicast on YouTube, a few minutes into my show, it will put a notification so that you'll know that if you miss one of my shows, you can just see if I posted a video. You'll be able to see the video. So you're welcome, Man of the North. How are you doing? Sleek Style says, how do you know if the cards are worth something? I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know, but there's folks up here who would know. Dave from Alberta says, I can send a link too if someone needs it. So yeah, if you want to get the links just emailed to you, message to you, does that work? I don't think it works on Whatnot. That's the only thing. Does Whatnot block it? I don't know. Good morning, Family Finds. How are you? Oh yeah, you could look on eBay to see what the sold comps are. Bubba Rip says search eBay, sold is easiest, and Man of the North says checking eBay. Case hits, numbered, or good players. See, again, I wouldn't have a clue. Family Finds, yes, good morning. All is well because the union has said that they're going to go back to work starting Saturday. A reminder that Monday is a holiday, so Canada Post offices won't be open on Monday anyways. So make sure you plan around that for your shows and your shipping. So, but the only caveat to the union has said they're going to go back to work and do rotating strikes is that one, it'll be a slowdown, or two, Canada Post Corporation could lock out workers. So if you don't think that that's a good idea, email doug.ettinger, Ettinger, at canadapost.ca and tell him. His executive assistant or an assistant will have to read it. Oh my gosh. Hockey cards in the boxes have a top hit, and in cases of boxes, there's even a rare card. See? No clue. Angie says, what's great here is today is also a PA day, so the kids have a 4-day weekend. Woo! Did you just True Social there, Mimics, with your all caps? Thank you for your attention to this matter is what you should have added at the end. All right. So if you are if you're new to my shows, there are free resources that are available to you. If you go to my profile on Whatnot and you scroll down a bit, at the end of it, I tell you the so you can copy it. It is case sensitive, or you can use the QR code that's in front of you right now. If you're in my show, I don't think it shows up on. I don't think you're going to be able to see it if you are on YouTube, but there are free resources that are available. There's a free goal planner, and I will have to start doing a 2026 goal planner soon because 2026 is almost upon us, y'all. I can't wait for this year to be over. There's stickers that you can use for when it starts to get cold, which is not too far off, and in some provinces it's already here. So that if you sell anything like jewelry or anything, thank you, Angie, then you'll be able to tell your buyers not to open the package right away because they could damage the package. They could damage the stuff inside. And also there's stickers for if you want to reuse boxes. So there's stickers for that. There's a whole bunch of things. Oh, look at this. Alcohol ink markers. Use a Sharpie much. Mimic signs everything with a big Sharpie. It's part of his executive orders every morning is he like writes out a little thing, gets something printed out, and then writes with a Sharpie. Vintage Bike back Kelly Irish says, I'm from Northern BC and I sell vintage decor on Sundays at 3:30 p.m. Pacific time, I assume. So everyone check out Kelly Irish. She's amazing. We love her. So if you have shows you want to share or you have questions that you want to ask, feel free. That's what I'm here for. The Crazy Bead Lady. Hi, Linda. And hello, Boho in Baja. Welcome in. I have a show at 5 p.m. Eastern tonight selling new old stock sterling silver jewelry from my store at liquidation prices. Forget me not vintage. Are you in here? Liquidation prices. Um, must have shiny things, signed Mimics. um, Dave says, I am okay with the rules if I still have an info entertainment show but have stuff in the bin. No intention of selling anything. Yes, as long as you put something for sale, which could be something that's like, you could put something that's valuable up for like $2,000. If somebody buys it, then it's going to be worth it to go through the effort of shipping it. Crazy Bead Lady says, I also have another show at 7:30 p.m. Eastern while I'll be selling some of my special beads. The Crazy Bead Lady had a store, and so she has stock that is absolutely phenomenal. So if you make jewelry or you repair jewelry, you need to be following the Crazy Bead Lady. Oh, Kelly Irish, I love you. You are awesome. Angie says, week left to join the Family Fashion and Accessories Raid Train that's on the 19th of this month. A few spots are available. You can sell or just chat. You can teach. So here's the thing. If for some reason Canada Post Corporation does lock out workers, and so you're still not able to do shows because you can only use Canada Post, you can do entertainment shows, you can do infotainment shows, and just do those under the community category. Don't put them in if you normally sell in vintage decor. Don't do a vintage decor show if you're not planning on selling. Use the community to tag it. Linker Dinker says, why was Canada Post even on strike? Because they haven't had a contract for almost 2 years now. And Canada Post Corporation wants to restructure and move most people to part-time or gig economy workers and significantly impact the day-to-day work life of Canada Post workers. So it's not really about money. It's about job security. I do wonder how busy it will be this Thanksgiving Sunday. You know what? I find so Kelly's wondering about how busy it's going to be on Whatnot when it's a holiday. Here's what I find. There's a significant portion of the world that doesn't have family to go to on holidays. And so they're going to come on to Whatnot because they're not at a dinner or some sort of Thanksgiving celebration. So you know what? You are going to get people coming in. And then you're also going to have people that are at a family event and are trying to hide away from their family members and are on their phones somewhere in the house watching Whatnot instead of dealing with family drama. So I find that on holidays, like on Christmas Day, most sellers aren't selling, and if you go live on a holiday, most sellers are not selling because they're at a family event and you are one of the only people that they can go to watch and buy from. So actually you'll find that you will yeah. Boho and Baja Story says, I was going to have my first show tomorrow, but I don't see how to select Pure later. I'm in Kamloops, BC. Makes me nervous. You're in Kamloops. Hello. So you could switch and use Chit Chats and then send your shipping provider from Canada Post to Chit Chats. And then you could send all your shipments in one big box through whatever courier you want to the Richmond, BC Chit Chats hub. So that's one of your options. If you want to know step by step how to do that, listen to my show yesterday on YouTube. If you go to my YouTube channel, you'll be able to listen to yesterday's show where I talk about that. Your other alternative is to use Bring Your Own Label, but your first show is tomorrow. And hopefully, if Canada Post Corporation does not does not lock out workers, then you will be able to use Canada Post labels, um, and print out Canada Post labels after your show on Saturday. So I believe that you are Boho and Baja makes sounds like you're probably in women's fashion. Let me just check. Storage unit finds. Ooh, estate sales, liquidating boutiques, live sales featuring low starts, true vintage, estate sale finds, reseller bunders, chic vintage, decor and props for film industry. Shut the front door. My shows are positive vibe. Love that. Safe, loving spaces. Love that. That allow vulnerability and for everyone to feel lovely, happy, and cared for. Love, love, love. Reasonable offers are welcome and encouraged. Yes, kindness can get you discounts. If you'd like to mod or co-host, I'd be eternally grateful for the help. That is awesome. You've been following a lot of people. Ooh, you got a Joseph Rib Cups. Look at that. Stunning, stunning freaking stuff. So you're doing women's boutique shows. Let me just, okay, everybody go to Boho and Baja. I just bookmarked. I'm her first bookmark. She's got tomorrow at 12 noon. She's doing her show. 12 noon Eastern time. She's doing her show. So I want you guys to all bookmark. If you love women's fashion, you need to bookmark her show. Also, Boho and Baja, contact Angie Susanat. She's got a Ray train that's for family fashion and accessories that you may absolutely love joining. That's on the 19th. And one of my recommendations would be to always have 5 to 10 shows booked, even if you put them months away, because you can move them forward. You can edit them and move them forward. But I was only able to bookmark one of your shows, and all the people who have just gone in to do what I've asked, which is go and visit your profile and bookmark your show, they were only able to bookmark one show. So my recommendation to everybody, no matter whether you're a new seller or you've been around for 50 years, in the entire time of Whatnot, is at least have 5 shows, if not 10 shows pre-booked. Don't be like me and have 500 shows booked. Don't do that. It actually turns out that like the maximum for like is 100 before it starts glitching some of the other features. I've managed to glitch the app. Baba Rips, you're in Kelowna. I think I already know that. We already talked about my grandparents being in Winfield, I think. And so Baba Rips is near Ogopogo. You should sell Ogopogo things. Is there an Ogo? We need an Ogopogo trading card. Someone needs to make an Ogopogo trading card. Sorry, hang on. 5 Acre Primitives, hi, says New Year's Day was my best show ever. I thought it would be a bust. Yeah, because not everybody has somewhere to go on holidays, and so and also if they do have somewhere to go, they're just trying to it's an escapism, right? Whatnot is entertainment. It's shoppertainment. It's QVC on steroids. So you have to remember that the people that are in your room, they might be and that's what I love about Boho and Baja. She says, like, I allow vulnerability in my show. Come to my show and feel safe. That's what people need. There are a lot of lonely and hurt people in this world who just need you to brighten their day for an hour or so. And they might buy from you. They might not buy from you. But that shouldn't matter, right? It shouldn't matter whether they buy or not when they're in your show. You're there to provide shoppertainment. Magnus by Marika says, I don't think I'd trust Canada Post Service right now. Bring your own label, be ready. Yeah. You've only done shows on PMark. Yes. Okay. Awesome. And if you have an Instagram, we do have a group. I don't know if you've been added. There's a group that deals on style, and I Spy Vintage is done. So message deals on style. Deals on, if you're a Canadian seller and you'd like to be added to the Instagram chat where you can share your shows. I Spy Collectibles. There it is. I Spy Collectibles or I Spy Luxury. There they are. Okay. So that's all them. That's all Kyle and Tishawn. So message one of those accounts and ask to be added to the Instagram, so that you can share your shows there. Picky's Picks, thank you so much. Welcome in, everyone. Lutrels, is that how you say it, or Lutrels? 5 and dime. Xander want to design his own stuff to sell. I think that would be awesome. Kelly Irish says retail therapy, Home Alone holidays. Yes, absolutely. You can have a good cry. Yes, feel free, Dave. Angie's this and that says Whatnot is a family some people don't have. Totally. Um, you're not in the chat. It's not a very exciting chat because people just share their shows mostly. And they can share all of their shows. So yeah, I don't know why you're not added, Mimics. If you're not, I'll see if I can add you. So what else do I have to say? I don't know. I don't have a lot to say today. So feel free to ask your questions. I don't have a lot to say today. The great news is that we're probably ugh, I either have a cold coming on or it's seasonal allergies, but I don't know what I'm allergic to this time of year. Is it like some sort of fungus from leaf rot or what? I don't know. I did get bit by a tick, but it wasn't for very long. So hopefully I'm okay. Bubba Rip says, I've met so many people on here. It's amazing. My son and I run our shows. I visit, he sells. I love that, Bubba Rips. That's awesome. I love family shows. It's allergies minor table. Every morning I wake up and I feel like I feel like I've smoked a pack of cigarettes. It's awful. Maybe I'm allergic to something in the couch. The couch did come from Oshawa. Yes, I sleep on the couch right now because it's the only comfortable spot. I can't sleep in the bed. It's not comfortable. I can't get comfortable. Anyways, that's my life. Dave from Alberta says, for anyone with a lot of time on their hands and who loves science, I'll be popping up with silver refining part 2 today or tomorrow. Bonus might witness my death. I'm sure not. And don't try this at home is what Dave is going to be saying throughout, but you'll be able to check out how to get silver out of products that have some silver in them, but not a lot. I assume that's what you're doing, is pulling silver off of electroplated stuff. Bubba Rip says, cool way to collect together now that I'm not cool anymore. You're still cool. Of course you're still cool. Man of the North says it's because the trees are going to sleep for the winter. I know. Good night, night, trees. Good night, trees. Some of my trees need help. I think I need to put those fall spikes in. I'm going to have to get some spikes because some of my trees did not do well with the drought this year. Your nose is clogged too? Oh my goodness. Drink a lot more water. I will after I finish my coffee. Absolute Flipping Deal says get to the pharmacy for the pill. The pharmacist can give it to you. This Lyme disease sucks. I should just ask for it. Ugh. I will call Sterling to 999. Ooh. I don't know what that means, but it sounds, that's like nearly pure. Dave from Alberta says scrap sterling jewelry today, getting pure silver for jewelry making. That is so cool. Did you ever hug? I have hugged a tree. I have been a tree hugger. Yeah, we did that during Girl Guides. I will, Donna. I will call them after this and ask for it. I know that it is really rough to take. A lot of people around here get bit by ticks and they've taken it and they said it's really rough on your system, but it will be Man of the North. I'm also someone who stays in bare feet when she goes outside as often as I possibly can. If I can take my shoes and socks off, I'm a barefoot. I'm one of those people. I don't care. I used to get pedicures and be all fancy and ladylike, but fork it. I'm too old for that, and I feel much better when my feet are in the grass. Yeah, it's grounding. So Peacock, good morning. Dave from Alberta says, I would do gold. It's cooler, but I'm low on gold scrap right now. Yes. So if you have any gold filled items, message that you're going to sell, make sure that you tag Dave from Alberta because, Dave needs to buy more stuff. We are never too old. I have a thing in the kitchen that says, we don't stop laughing because we grow old. We grow old because we stop laughing. Yeah. Anyways, Philosophy 101 today. We're going to add that to the list of things we've talked about. We've talked about advocating for Canada Post Corporation not to lock out workers on Saturday. We've talked about how Canada Post, hopefully, if the Canada Post doesn't lock out workers, then and workers will be back to work on Saturday and Tuesday, depending on their schedules. So that means that hopefully we will be able to have labels again, Canada Post labels, use Canada Post. There will be they'll be doing rotating strikes, so there will be delays depending on where the strike is and where you live or where your customer lives, but packages will start moving again. And that's good news, which also hopefully means that Whatnot will turn back on international buying. Now, granted, at any moment, Canada Post Corporation could lock out workers, or they could. Sorry, I got distracted. At any time, Canada Post could lock out workers, or the union could say rotating strike's not working. We're going back to full on strike. That could happen. So if you can use Chit Chats, I do recommend switching to Chit Chats exclusively. And again, if you want to learn how to do batch labeling, so you can, or batching your items so you can send them to a Chit Chats hub because you don't live close to a Chit Chats drop off, then I highly recommend that you watch my video from yesterday because I do talk about that. Yeah. So I mean, if you can stick with Chit Chats, stick with Chit Chats. But the good news is for some folks, like we have a seller in Resolute Bay, Nunavut. Okay. There is no other option but Canada Post. It's a plane ride from there to Yellowknife in the Northwest Territories. That's the closest opportunity for them to do shipping through Purolator or anything else. They have to literally put it on a plane. So that's just not. I can't remember the name of the Nunavut seller. They were like a card seller, I think. I haven't seen them in a while. Yeah, probably haven't seen them in a while since the last strike because it sucks. um, Bubba Rip says Chit Chats told me they can't do batches for Whatnot sold Chit Chat labels. I had to send everything without a batch yesterday. Yeah, so like Richmond, BC, told stamp pickers that they are accepting just boxes with all the packages inside. I would just make sure you use a courier that has some sort of proof of delivery, so that if Chit Chats loses your box of packages, you can track it down and show them that it indeed did get to your hub. You have to send it to the hub. So go to chitchats.com and find the list of hubs, because you can't send it to a branch as a big box of all the little packages. You have to send it to a hub. A batch label is ideal, but a lot of the hubs are saying it's okay if you don't have a batch label. Some locations, some branches of Chit Chats were helping to manually create batch labels for people. Matthew from Chit Chats, he's the director of partnerships. He was working to see if Chit Chats will add a feature to their website so that we can create our own batch labels. That hasn't happened yet, but they're hoping. They're hoping to do that. Prairie Knight says, I found a Chit Chat drop off 20 minutes away. I'm starting my shows up again. Got to watch your show from yesterday. Yeah, that's great. 20 minutes away isn't bad, right? That's not too bad. I mean, a Purolator drop off for me, if I wanted to use Purolator to send packages to Chit Chats, probably with the kind of shows that I do, usually like they're pretty huge boxes, so it wouldn't be advantageous to me. So, if you live in the Maritimes, so New Brunswick, PEI, or Nova Scotia, they do have drop-off locations that are maritime bus companies, where you go to a maritime bus company and you bring them your big box of all your packages. They do charge you for taking it from wherever you are in the Maritimes to the Bedford Bay Chit Chats hub. So Chit Chats goes to Maritime Bus Company and picks up all of their packages that are for them. So you just have to go to Maritime Bus Company location that you can find on chitchats.com. You tell them that this big box of stuff is all going to Chit Chats, and they sell you the label for that. So you do have to pay money for that, but if you do enough sales, it's worth it. Like if it costs you $30 to send it there and you sold 100 things, just divide that up per item, and just think, if there's 100 things in here that I sold and it cost me $30, that's like what, 30 cents each? 3 cents each? I don't know. 30 cents each. That's not too bad. Greenlee sells video games from Nunavut. That's so cool. Okay. It was a different person than Greenlee, but that's awesome. That means we have two, at least. How cool is that? Mimic says I have an automated Purolator machine 5 minutes away. That's much better than a 45-minute ride, isn't it? Hello, everybody. Welcome in. So if you do have questions or you want to share your shows, feel free. Again, the big news for today is that it looks like, as long as Canada Post doesn't lock out workers, that they will be going back to work starting on Saturday and Tuesday, depending on their schedules. I just want to give a quick reminder about this. For regardless of whether Canada Post goes back to work or not, for U.S. buyers, for your U.S. buyers, it still remains, no matter what, that U.S. bound packages from Canada will have to go by UPS, and depending on the items that you have in there, you could be that it's a $10 charge that your buyers will get, or in my case, all of my packages so far that have gone to the States were $24 US for UPS brokerage fee plus the government fees, which were relatively low, right? So definitely keep that in mind. And if you want to use this image of the little image that I've made, this is free for everyone to use. If you go to our Discord, it's up in the show notes, or you can message any one of the mods and ask them to send you the link. You will find that you can, if you go to I think it's in tariffs. I think it's in our tariff channel on our Discord, because all of our different topics are in different channels, so that there's not a lot of, you don't have to read a ton of things if you're just looking for one thing. Oh God, that's horrible. So definitely you can use that if you want to, and you can copy and paste if you want to, the way that I wrote this, to just warn your US buyers. Now, when a US buyer comes into your show, if you're a Canadian, they're going to get a pop-up that's going to come up and say, like, it's basically like a warning that says there's additional tariffs. That's the way they've phrased it, which isn't completely accurate, but there's additional tariffs if you buy from this show. So the reason why it's not completely accurate is because of the fact that, yes, because the de minimis exemption got removed that used to be from 1938 to on 1938 to August 29th of this year, there was a de minimis exemption. So 3 or 4 generations of Americans have never had to deal with taxes, tariffs, and duties on things, because all of their items were below the de minimis amount, right? When they would import stuff from other countries. Now, no matter where it's coming from in the world, it is going to have some sort of charge on it. So, because they're also adding taxes and duties, custom duties. Now, as Canadians who have imported from the United States and other countries, we're used to paying customs duties on things, because our de minimis exemption is actually only $20. Usually I find that like $70 US or higher is where I will get a bill. And sometimes I forget that and I buy way too much in a show, and then I end up with a customs bill. Anyways, so Peacock asked like how much extra. So like I sent 2 items that were like $10 to the States. It was $24 UPS charge for brokerage fees, and it was $3.47 for the taxes, duties, and tariffs. So that's like almost 35% taxes and tariffs charge. So yeah, that is what my buyer was being charged. And I don't think that she accepted the package. It is what it is. It is what it is. 35% plus the UPS fee is pretty bad. Yes, sorry, Kelly, did I miss something? I'm scrolling back up. No, okay, I got that. Oh, sorry. Um, Man of the North says Man of the North 514 says some of my packages were charged an additional fee of $50. Then that's like 50, that's in US dollars. So like Forget Me Not Vintage sells mostly jewelry. It was $10. So think it has something to do with the HTS codes, and it's easier for some of our packages to go through because the HTS codes are completely correct, because in jewelry it would be. um Mimic says, I hope to add as much info as I can to help lower chance of the customs fees. There's only so much we can do because Whatnot has set up HS codes, which are very general based on the category. So one of the ways that you can help to minimize it for your customer is to make sure that and this is a do as I say, not as I do. If you are selling in estate sales or storage units and it's random stuff, um, you run the risk that your HS codes are going to be something that's not the same as what the item is. For example, in estate sales, and I think in storage unit finds, it comes up as playing cards. So I send pottery and it's coming up as playing cards. I used to like, but we can't do what I used to do when I was shipping to the States. Is I used to like cross it out and write what the actual thing was. But of course, I didn't change the HTS codes because it was just manually editing the label. We don't have the ability to edit the label. Dear Whatnot, I think what would be very helpful to us is if you force us, and sorry, but suck it up, Buttercup, the big sellers, if you force us to have to put in the correct HTS code, not just the country of origin. Because right now, if you sell to the US, you still have to go in to seller.whatnot.com and you need to change the country of origin to the correct country before you can generate a label. I think we should also make it that for each item, you need to put in the right HTS code. And in some cases, you're not going to know for sure, but try and put like the closest, most logical HTS code you can. You can find that online. There's lots of different websites that will give you a searchable way for you to research and find the right HTS code. You just put in like t-shirt cotton and it will come up, or t-shirt cotton blend and it will come up. Women's wear, it will come up with the right one. So it's easier. I think that part of it is because the HTS codes are not correct, and so they literally have to go in and edit that before they can put it through. So if they see playing cards, and they look at they're scanning the item and they know that's not playing cards, I think that's part of what's doing it. Like the food that I sent um, was under a general like snacks and candy, but it was actually hot sauce, and that's in a different line. That's a different HTS code than just like candy. Um, Oh, what percent do we pay in Canada? I can't even remember. I don't remember. If you want to go to tarifffinder.ca, it's up in my show notes, tarifffinder.ca. You will be able to type in there and it will tell you what the different, depending on whether you're um, brain fart, depending on whether you're exporting or importing, it will tell you what the current tariffs and charges are. Peacock Therese says my HTS codes are simple, either bird seed or feathers. Yeah, so like if you're a big TCG seller, or a big sports card seller and you're shipping into the US, it's not going to be an issue for you. It's the same HTS code over and over again. Like for records from the six. He was like, oh, and I said, well, hang on, like you do records, so you already know that HTS code, like probably off by heart. Just if you sell the same sort of things each time, just have like on your computer and like one of those notepad things that, like a little sticky note that you can just add. Here's the information. Like here's the HTS code for this, here's the HTS code for that, and then you can just copy and paste it in really fast. I think that for sellers like me that have to look up like pottery and kitchenware and this and that, it's a pain in the butt. But it's part of doing business. And if I was on eBay or I don't know, probably Etsy, I would have to look it up anyways. So why I understand that Whatnot's trying to make life as simple as possible for sellers with these generic HTS codes, but it is But if it's costing extra, if that's the reason, and I don't know for sure, but if that is the reason why it's costing extra for UPS to process the packages, then it's not fair to our buyers. We need to do an extra work to make it a $10 fee. I'm perfectly happy with, I think most people would be perfectly happy with getting a package for me with a whole bunch of pottery in it or whatever they like collecting if it was only $10 plus the government fee. But $24 is a bit much. Nan North says, please stop the nonsense and bring back Canada Post workers. Absolutely. So if you have a chance, contact Canada Post Corporation. You can send an email to the CEO. It'll be read by an executive assistant, I'm sure. Doug.Ettinger, Ettinger at canadapost.ca, and say, do not lock out workers. Please do not lock out workers. If you do, I will never use Canada Post again. Because they do have that. Especially if everything is intact. God hoping. It's been a long time since I've had stuff broken in transit. It's been almost a year. Now, granted, I haven't sold a lot this year because life got in the way and everything else that's been going on, but I will be 2026 is the year I will be selling as much as possible. Because I would like to actually clear out my I need to clean my house needs to happen. Okay. All right. So it is 11:30. Everyone share your shows so that everyone can follow everybody else. And Shop with Jackie says, I finally figured out shipping thanks to you. Yay! I'm glad. Woohoo! So everyone share your shows. Ask, this is your last chance to ask your questions. And if you want to if you don't want to put up, share your shows, you can just put a bunch of emojis in the chat so that everybody can follow everybody else who puts up emojis. Your choice. Emojis, share your shows, ask a question, and read my show notes, y'all. Read my show notes because there's all kinds of things for you to think about, all kinds of recommendations, things that I can't wait till I can go back to talking about how to sell and whatnot and not about the stupid strike. There you go. So Prairie Nights sells, YSSC. Look at those. I'm going to follow. Dave from Alberta, who may be from Alberta, we don't know. Various shows to bookmark in my profile. Might even sell something if Canada Post comes back. Yay. Shop with Jackie says, I'm having shows all month long for children's fun bamboo wear. Oh, that would be so soft and comfy. Oh, Magnus by Marika says, bookmark my shows. Thank you all. Today, alive is Canadian seller support. Yay, that's awesome. I love it, Magnus by Marika. Collector cards. Unfortunately, we can't see that, so tell us what it is. Yeah, the link doesn't work. The links don't work on chat at all, unfortunately. That would be kind of cool if they did, but it's because they don't want you directing out of the show. 5 Alarm is live tonight. Tell me what that's about. Is that a new seller? Pickles 44. Everyone follow Pickles 44. Vintage buyback Kelly Irish. Who else? Put up your emojis if you're a seller. I want to see those emojis while I look for who we're going to raid into. Refresh. I'm going to find somebody I haven't raided into yet. Jespian says I want to be. You will be. Have you been approved yet? Boho and Baja. There's Boho and Baja. Family Finds TM. Who else? Man of the North 514 says I usually sell comics, would like to also sell cards and other stuff. Sell it all. 5 Alarm cards live tonight. Let me check it out. 5 Alarm cards. Woo, Premier Shop. Are they Canadian? Are they another Premier Shop? They are Canadian. Holy poop. 9.7 thousand things sold, less than 1 day shipping. And their show is, look how many shows they have pre-scheduled. I love this. Today at 9:29 p.m. they're doing hockey cards. How awesome is that? Okay, back out again. Back out. Look at that. Another premier seller on Whatnot Canada. And Collective Card says I'm one of their mods. That's awesome. Being a moderator is a fun thing. It's hard work, especially probably in a big show like that. As Pickles44 says, yeah, don't be nervous, Jespian. You will be with friends. Yeah, just remember, like, you've gotten to know us all. We love you, and so we're going to be there to support you if we can. Ooh, let's see. Okay, Mind Your Ink is on. J Cells. Okay, let's compare. Do. Let's see. Come on. There we go. Let's see. Oh, my computer is being so slow today. Just a mom trying to make a little bit of extra cash flow. My first silent auction. Oh dear. Let me just double check. Let me double check before. Oh, thank you, Boho and Baha. I decided I needed to like celebrate. Jespian says, I hate, oh, sorry. Dave from Alberta says, I hate doing stuff like shows and I survive. You can too. Living the dream. Hello. What a cute little, I love your little logo. Yes. So get your followers to promote your show. Everybody follow each other. This is, oh dear. Okay. Not going into this one because this person is doing a dead show. So we are out. We are out of there. Please don't do that. I think yesterday or the day before I talked about dead shows, which are basically where you do not. Oh, come on, go back to what I want. Do not have a show where you're not present in the show. You can't just have this person has some sort of image up, sort of comic book type image, and it just says like check out the buy it now, and they're not there. Like they're not there at all. That is not how you do shows on Whatnot, and that will if people report you, I'm not going to report because I'm busy. I'm busy chatting with you guys. So but you will lose. You will lose your ability to sell on Whatnot if you do that. So Shop with Jackie says my new Canadian friends are definitely the sweetest. It's very refreshing, isn't it? That is the one thing about Whatnot. And by the way, I did send a message to the staff. I said a happy Thanksgiving to you all. If you don't see me before your Thanksgiving, I'll be on tomorrow. I'm gonna not do Sundays anymore because I'm hoping that the strike will be back to semi-normal with rotating strikes. And then on Monday, we will start talking about Whatnot selling again instead of having to talk about the Canada Post strike. Fingers crossed. So, but what I did was I sent a message to Kiyomi and Casey and Kenny, who are part of the community team on Whatnot, and thank them for what they do. Because as far as I'm concerned, what makes Whatnot special and different, and the reason why it's so successful, is that they have created a platform where community and belonging is at the heart of it. That's what makes it work. It's shoppertainment, but um it's about a feeling. It's about an experience. It's about feeling like you connect with your customers and other sellers. um Canada Post labels are not currently enabled. Man North, that's okay. You don't have to. Thank you though for the thought that counts. um uh Dag Zinc, we have to wait because first and foremost, Canada Post Corporation could lock out workers on Saturday, but that would be a really stupid move. So I highly encourage everybody to call or email the CEO of Canada Post and tell him, "Don't you dare do that. That's a really dumb move." But what I will say is if you can switch to chit chats, do so, because um we never know what's going to happen next. There's like the strike isn't over just because they're going to rotating strikes. There's still the possibility they could go on full strike, or Canada Post Corporation could lock them out. These are all the possibilities. Unfortunately, we're not out of the woods yet. So Whatnot, I did message Whatnot Canada staff and said, FYI, this was announced last night that they're going to go to rotating strikes. Hopefully, can you please turn back on labels on Saturday? They're not going to turn back on labels today. if they turn on back on labels, it'll probably be on Saturday, or they might wait over the weekend just to make sure everything's okay and that Canada Post Corporation doesn't lock out workers. That's totally up to them. And that includes whether or not they turn on international buying for Canadians again. That's up to them because it is a risk. I want everyone to understand that as anxious as you are to start buying again from the US, or you're anxious to start shipping through Canada Post again, you have to understand that there is a financial risk to Whatnot, and with this whole strike thing. Because what happens is when somebody's package gets stuck because of a strike, they go and complain to Whatnot support, and Whatnot's philosophy is to redo refunds more than any other platform does, and therefore, um, they lose money because they may do a refund because it's stuck in because of a strike, um, but they don't take that out of the seller's account. They do the refund, to make the buyer happy, so the buyer will stick with Whatnot. But that has a financial cost, and so there is a risk balance that they need to achieve in deciding whether or not to immediately turn back on labels, um, and immediately turn back on international buying when it's rotating strikes, but we don't know for how long. So please give Whatnot some grace if they don't turn back on labels right away on Saturday, um, or they don't turn on international buying right away on Saturday, because there is that financial risk to them, and this is a very uncertain time. Canada Post Corporation could turn around after the weekend and just say, "No, we're locking you out. Screw it." Um, Magnus by Marika says, I made a button magnet, community kindness collecting, because I have the Whatnot feeling. I love that. That is awesome. Um, Dave says, I can't tip you either. That button seems to come and go. Whatnot is loco. That's okay. Maybe I think that what they do is that I think it disappears sometimes just so that there isn't like, I had one show, right after the strike ended. I actually had, a time where what did they do to me? They didn't suspend me, but they did something else that was like I couldn't take my payouts out or something, because or I can't remember what it is, but they blocked me because I suddenly had we had like a month of I didn't do much selling because there was a strike, and I was concentrating on spending my energy doing shows for you guys to explain what to do during the strike last time. And then when the strike ended, a whole bunch of people suddenly like tipped me a whole bunch. And I got dinged for that because the system was like, I think she's doing something wrong, because when you get a ton of tips, it looks like you're trying to go do an end around Whatnot somehow. So it does have an alert for that, which is kind of interesting. So it could be an avoidance of that. I don't know. Bohom Baha, thank you for the tip. You are so sweet. I love you. Thank you so much. And thank you everyone who thinks is contemplating the tip. I appreciate it. It's not necessary. I do this anyways, because I think it's important. I think, the if I and I know there's only 27 of you here, but if you find out the information that you need, you may give that to somebody else that you know that sells on Whatnot, and we can stop misinformation and worry. We can help keep people calm and keep them selling during this time. Dagzink says, I want the US to ship through other than CP, but it doesn't seem like any are doing that. No. The Whatnot does not, the US sellers only have USPS as an option, so it's not possible. We definitely don't want our packages stuck as last time. Shop with Jackie says, so I missed it. So Canada Post is back on and off. Sorry, you don't. No, it's okay. Shop with Jackie. So what's happening is that Canada Post Corporation, not sorry, the union met with the minister, and then made a decision. Met with the minister on Wednesday, and then or Thursday. Anyways, they met with the minister, and then they made a decision last night that they will go to rotating strikes starting on Saturday morning. And rotating strikes are where one area of or multiple areas of the country. So they may say Halifax, Toronto, and Calgary, you are all on strike. All those areas, you guys are on strike. Everybody else goes to work, but those areas are on strike and picketing for a couple of days, 3 days, a day. They make that decision. And then they say, okay, you guys go back to work. Now it's going to be Vancouver and Winnipeg and St. John's. And then, okay, you guys go back to work now. Now it's this area. So they're basically what they do is they rotate it around the country. They might say, we're just going to shut down all of Ontario for 3 days, or we're just going to go with this city. They make that determination. What they're trying to do is make things uncomfortable, but not impossible. What it is going to do is slow down the postal system. The challenge is, Jackie, that there is the option for Canada Post to just lock out workers and not let them back in. If that happens, then it's the equivalent of a strike because they can't go back to work because they're locked out. That is a possibility. I hope they don't do that. That would be really stupid. So if you get a chance, message Canada Post and tell them not to do that. Talk to your MP's office and tell them to write down that you are opposed to Canada Post going locking out their workers, because that will stop the ability for us to do any shipping through whatnot. The caption button comes and goes too. Oh, that is really weird. IBCC shop, are you going to eat bugs again? I am not, because I had a really severe allergic reaction the last time I ate one of these bugs. Like it was not good. It was like close to, it's as close as I've ever gotten with my allergies to dialing 911 and asking someone to bring me an EpiPen. Like it was pretty bad. So I'm sorry, but I was going to, but I cannot eat the bugs. I can't eat the bugs. It'll kill me. Um do, 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 do. You're right, Jackie. Vintage Buyback Kelly Irish says, have arrived at work. This is a long one, Kim. Thanks again. Have a great day. Love you, Kelly. Have a great day. I am never going to do it again. Yeah, it was not good. Chocolate Danny says it was painful watching Meet the Bugs. They do taste, these particular bugs do taste horrible. I do not recommend them. If you ever want to taste bugs, these are not the bugs to taste. They were what? Oh, Sassy Mandu. So the last time there was a strike, um, the last time there was a strike, there was a dare by Peacock Vintage. It's her fault. There was a dare that if there like when the strike ended and there was the possibility of another strike, because we've been in limbo for a while. The deal was that if we had another strike, I was going to have to eat I still have them in front of me. I haven't thrown them out yet. One of these bugs every day that there was a strike. And the first day that I ate these bugs, I ate 4 of them. But I clearly didn't eat the particular species, and I did, like, I was very sick for, like, I was not well afterwards. But I thought it was just because they are absolutely disgusting and that was the reason I wasn't feeling well. But then a couple of days later I ate a bug and it was just horrible. So it was a dare. It was like a feel the pain with me. Yeah, it was just it was horrible, but I did it because I said I would do it. Like I know it was a joke. Peacock, bless her, Peacock did message me and go like, that was really painful to watch you doing that. You don't have to do it anymore. You can stop, because she was the darer. But yeah, but it's okay. So I'm sorry that you missed it, IBCC shop, but I don't know if one of I think my Sunday video might be on the Sunday right after the strike started, might still be on YouTube. So you could see if you could watch it. It was in Sunday, Monday, or Tuesday. I think I stopped to eat. That was the last one, I think, on Tuesday. I did try, but I did have a bad allergic reaction, and I can't remember which one it was that they didn't take it down for gross content. I mean, I didn't show, like, I showed the bug and then I ate it, but I tried not to. Hi Megahertz. Tomorrow's rotation with Canada Post will Whatnot have Canada Post on? We're hoping. Yes, we're hoping, but give Whatnot some grace, because there is financial risk for them, because they could go back to strike or Canada Post could lock them out. Sassy says, someone link me this video. So if you go to my profile, Sassy, if you read my profile, my YouTube handle is in there, and you can go to my YouTube. And what I do is I multicast, and whenever it works and connects with YouTube, like it is today, you'll be able to rewatch my shows. So you have to go back to like September 28th, I think. Yeah, fingers crossed, megahertz. We're hoping. We are hoping, but Absolute Flipping Deal says, make sure you call the pharmacist. Remember, I had no reactions to the tick and then I tested positive. I'm texting you later. Yeah. So I did. I mean, I pulled it out and it was fully intact when I pulled it out. So I'm hoping that I'm okay. And it was pretty quickly after, like he hadn't really, he hadn't fully started. He just had started, or I don't know why I'm saying he, they, it, the tick. It's tick season. I am so happy that we have frost every morning. It's freezing outside and I can't go walk outside in my bare feet in the grass. I miss that. But I am very happy because yes, it kills the ticks. We just need like a couple more days of full on frost and the ticks will be gone. They'll be dead. So it's raining. It's sunny here. It's sunny here, but I gotta go soon. So let's see who's on, who's not doing a silent show that's against the rules. Oh, it's so slow. It is so slow. What the fork? Come on. Whatnot? Wakey, wakey, rise and shine. All right. We're just gonna take a risk. We're gonna go into J cells. All right. So I love you guys so much. We're gonna head into a whatnot seller. Let's see. Just double checking. That person is no longer on my list. So I think we'll go to this one. No, hang on. Poop. Too many. Actually, this is a good thing. There are a lot of choices. There are definitely a lot of choices. I want to try and find someone who doesn't have high numbers. So, thank you, megahertz. You are awesome. No problem, man in the north. That's what I'm here for. Always. Okay, hang on. My fork. That's not what I want to do. Get down. Get down. Oh, the love of all things holy. Poop that. There we go. Okay, let's see what it comes up with. Oh, Sassy Mandu is on. Sassy just went on. Sassy was just here and Sassy Mandu's gone on. So let's go into someone who was here in the show earlier. And she only has 3 people in her show. So let's select her. Sassy is doing a silent auction. She's going to be, you're doing silent. That's okay. But you're present, right? You can type. Can you type back? If people say hi, you can type back. So she's there. So we're going to go in. She's not going to be saying anything. This is a silent show, but she's still present. So let's go in, shop at your own pace, ask questions, purchase clothes. This is a type of show that you can do as long as you are present. You don't have to talk if you don't want to. This is a silent but present show. So let's go in and say hi to Sassy, and Sassy will say hi back. And you can check out her bin, and you can ask any questions you want. All right, here we go. Oh wait, what is it doing? Why isn't it oh, for the love of all things holy. I don't know why it's doing this. It's not showing me. Hang on. It's not even showing me a way. Hang on. It's literally not showing me a way. It's not showing me the button. There is no button for me to press. So I need to go into my own show on here. Please hold, and I will do it from here. There we go. Raid now. Here we go.